Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do a follow-up video to yesterday's video about the Inktober controversy. Now, just a very quick recap of what is going on with Inktober. There have been allegations leveled against the creator of Inktober, Jake Parker, that his current Inktober book is actually plagiarized from another artist and another YouTuber named Alphonso Dunn. Now, this has been making the rounds in art circles for a week or so. And
yeah, we were late to it, actually.
We were actually late to it. We'd heard about it. We just assumed it was part of the same controversy that happened last year with Inktober, where Jake Parker trademarked the Inktober name, and then his lawyer was hitting people with cease and desists who were using the Inktober name, and he tried to clarify that it was, oh, no, just the logo. You can't use the logo. Yeah, that apparently there was some overreach there looking into it. So he's already kind of,
made people mad?
Pissing people off. Yeah, because Inktober became sort of a community thing. This has been going on for like 10 years now. And while Parker supposedly, allegedly, is the guy who created Inktober, there's some debate about that too. Some people don't think.
Some people are saying they didn't know. I don't know.
It was already a thing. They think then he just kind of popularized it. I don't know. I wasn't there. But it became a communal thing, a community thing that a lot of artists, and especially webcomics people, DeviantArt people, were using. And then all of a sudden, as of last year, it became a commercial thing. Not only did he trademark Inktober, but he also started marketing official Inktober subscription boxes.
Yeah, that's just...
$90 subscription boxes. People are like, what the hell? And
but now we have this controversy, which is what matters. We'll talk about the Inktober thing in a bit. We're talking about this controversy right now.
So this controversy is this book that he's doing about inking through Chronicle Books that the artist Alphonso Dunn claims is basically plagiarized from a book he did like 5 years ago. Now, I did watch the video where Mr. Dunn compared his book to Jake Parker's book, and I gotta tell you, if you're asking for a personal opinion, it was pretty damn similar.
It really was.
I mean, I wasn't there. I can't say for sure, but it was pretty damn similar. And Mr. Dunn he took like an hour and he went through and he actually broke down his thought process behind a lot of the lessons he was teaching, and even some of the chapter titles were similar. And yeah, it could be argued that some of these teachings are universal.
Well, right. Like I said in the video, it was so funny to me when people don't actually watch the video but think they're going to add some comments. Yes, and somebody else in this comment said the same thing. These are principles that any art teacher uses. Yes, to an extent. There are exercises and things in there that I've seen many art teachers use, that I've used. But there are other things that he put in there that were not things that you normally see. And it was so interesting that one person had them. It's really questionable when two people had the exact same thing.
Yeah.
That's where I'm scratching my head. Some of the stuff was very basic art lesson stuff you've seen before. But some of it wasn't. Some of it wasn't.
And that's what some people pointed out. They said that there are some things that, even Alphonso Dunn says that he had to think about for quite some time how to, I guess, articulate that.
And
he explained. He actually had notes. He had notes.
Like I said, it was Working Girl over again.
It was Working Girl. And so if you're asking for a personal opinion, I think it's pretty damn similar. Now, Chronicle Books, since this broke out, we missed this yesterday. We didn't know, but they decided...
Well, we being him, because he's the one that put the video together. I was doing other... I was doing other things.
Well, it was on me, but the thing is this wasn't widely circulated. People were talking about the video, but I did not realize that Chronicle Books decided to put the book on hold, to put Jake Parker's book on hold to investigate the situation to see if they're going to even publish the book. This is what they said on Twitter a couple of days ago. They said, "Thank you for everyone's notes on the upcoming book, Inktober, all year long. Our team is taking this matter seriously and investigating the situation. We have held the release of this book while we look into this matter. We will share more when we can. Basically, please don't sue us."
Well, here's the thing. Is the book printed already?
It was supposed to come out, I think, next month. Oh, God, yeah.
Okay, so
like in a
it's
couple
printed
weeks.
already, and they do prove that it turns out to be plagiarized, if that's indeed the case.
Yeah.
That guy get in trouble because the company spent all that money to print the book. So
I don't know what happens. I don't know what happens. I don't know if they take a loss or they go back on Jake Parker and they say you give your advance back, you pay us for the thousands and thousands of dollars we spent publishing this book. I don't know what happens.
But I do know a couple things here. People were like, what do you know? It's like, well, we know quite a bit of things, actually. For example, with the Inktober issue, people are like, how can he trademark it? Well, here's how you could trademark it, because we've dealt with trademark issues recently, thanks to people trying to take names that belong to us. Anyway, if he could provide he filed the trademark. If he can provide the trademark office evidence that they request that he thought he had a right to trademark because he's been using it for long enough, he can do that. Now, trademark office likely isn't going to know that it's a movement done by many people. They're just going to go by what evidence is handed to them. Sometimes you get good people that look it up and make sure. Sometimes you don't. It is hit or miss on who's assigned to your case. But then it goes, after it's approved there, it's given so much time that it can be opposed. If no one opposed it, they assume that there's nothing wrong with it, and they went ahead and awarded it. Now, it can be taken away, but it involves courts and a lot of money and a lot of issues, and it's very expensive and time consuming and not easy. So there's that.
Yeah, it's that's the thing about trademarks. And again, we are currently thousands of dollars in into a trademark dispute for something that we clearly own, just to try to protect our name. And I can tell you that the trademark office a lot of times, again, doesn't really pay a lot of attention.
Or if they do, it's just like, they're just going by what you give them.
Right, and if nobody contests it, the only thing I could think is if you had thousands of people say no, Inktober is technically a group thing because we all made it what it is, but they might not see it that way. They might be like, oh, he's had Inktober on his blog since 2009.
Right.
It's his. He filed for it. He paid the money. He paid the thousands of dollars to register it. It's his, end of discussion.
Well, it's not end of discussion. You technically can't fight it, but
right.
It's why.
Yeah, so all of this, it all starts to snap into place when you realize how long it takes to put a publishing deal together, and he's using the Inktober branding now on products and all of that. That's why he filed the trademark. And like I said before, I admire somebody for their ability to capitalize on their own work. To be smart with money, and especially as artists, because it is very hard to make a living as an artist. But in the case of this, Inktober really was a communal thing. Right.
So, but I'm just answering a question because people keep asking, how is it possible? Well, it's possible, and that's how. The other question people keep saying is about, what we brought up is the fact that, if it turns out that there is enough evidence that, it could be taken to further on whether or not it's plagiarism or not, it is a hard thing to prove. I don't, people are like, no, you don't understand wording. They say, I totally understand. Yes, we've been dealing with, our attorney is also a copyright attorney, and we've learned lots of things about, stuff like if someone doesn't, even if someone pays you and they don't have an agreement to keep your work up, they can't just take your work and take your names off of it and get away with it because that's plagiarism. So yes, we've learned quite a bit about, copyrights and things like that as well. And, it is going to be it's going to be an uphill battle, I think, but he's got quite a bit of evidence.
Yeah, again, if you're asking for my armchair opinion, it's not legal advice, but my armchair opinion, having watched the video, and I went into it very kind of open-minded, because I thought somebody mentioned that they thought it was, payback for trademarking Inktober, but I watched the video, and I'm like, no, this isn't.
This book's been out for way
5
before
years,
this has been trademarked.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we're trying to be fair and be like, let the courts decide, but there are a lot of similarities, and where yes, a lot of the techniques that both books have art exercises and things that art teachers often teach, and you most likely had in art classes. There were other things, the way it was put together and the thought process behind it, that was not that case.
Yeah, so Chronicle Books holding off on the book. Now, the dominoes are starting to fall over elsewhere. The Inktober Awards. Now, I'm not exactly sure. I tried to find more information. I think this is a new thing.
I have no idea. I'm not going to even claim I know anything about it.
That they were going to do this year on DeviantArt. And they canceled the Inktober Awards not long after that video came out. So, you know, the dominoes are definitely falling. Now, here's where it's going to get really sticky. So a lot of people, you know, are weighing in, and it is because of Alphonso Dunn's video.
Wait, they call him the one idiot on YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah, there are people...
They might have canceled that because they don't own the trademark to it.
People are... yeah, I think it's just they didn't want to go anywhere near it, you know, at this point. And yeah, obviously Jake Parker
Wait. Go back down for a minute. Alfonso's perspective to me comes kind of like how some people on the internet, example, adopt makers, try to claim sole ownership of things such as use of colors or body poses, themes, and separate elements. You mean like somebody who's claiming sole ownership of Inktober when, you know...
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, and this is what we talked about in the other video. I mean, you know, whether or not he actually plagiarized the book, you know, what's going to happen in court? Because
yeah, that's all we've been saying. And the same we said last time too.
It's gonna be pretty hard to prove when you've got, you know, if just hypothetically speaking, because we don't even know if any of this is going to go to court or anything, but if it would go to court, they would have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that, you know, they did copy it verbatim. It wasn't just general art knowledge, you know, and I think he would have a pretty good case. But again, these things are very expensive. You know, does Dunn want to get into the thousands and thousands of dollars it would cost?
Well, at this point, it's probably too late. He's going to be into it because, you know, that's just the way it's going to be at this point.
Well, now, here's the other scenario. And again, not a lawyer, just throwing this out there based on our own experience, you know, dealing with this kind of stuff. If Chronicle Books cancels the deal, if they pull the plug on Jake Parker's book because of that video, it is possible that Jake Parker could actually sue Alphonso Dunn because he could claim that Alphonso Dunn's video caused him financial harm. And, you know, so, I mean, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I think it's going to get ugly. This isn't going to be like two guys agree to disagree. It's blown up.
Yeah.
There's going to be repercussions and money involved or lack of money.
Well, you better believe the publisher is going to have lawyers. And I know if the one person's rep by the person we think it is, definitely lawyers there. So I hope Alfonso has lawyers.
Yeah, because it could actually, and again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. People be like, oh my God, it's like, I
that's the court's decision, not ours.
That's the court's decision. I'm just saying.
Does it look like it's the case? There's a lot of evidence that I could see would lead someone to believe so.
But what could happen, like I said, is if Chronicle Books decides to cancel his book based on that YouTube video, Jake Parker might go after Alphonso Dunn.
Well, what Chronicle Books might, just because the fact is, I mean, they have a lot of money into it, but they don't want to deal with it, you know, or be accused of doing wrongdoing, or even associated with wrongdoing. So it's just it's a very, very tricky thing, and it's very multifaceted, and people are acting like it's black and white, and things like this, even when the answers are obviously black and white, that doesn't mean it's black and white.
No,
we've learned this big time.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a slam dunk case, and it can still, when it gets to court, there can be all kinds of curveballs that can be thrown. You know, and again, I don't know if it's going to go to court. This clearly, I believe, was an official Inktober thing, though, because they made a big deal about it. This is Jake Parker's work right here. So he's lost that too, and he's lost face. I mean, he could argue, even though I do believe his book is damn near identical to Alphonso Dunn's, he could argue that Alphonso Dunn did cause him damage in professionally, and it could get ugly, guys. This could be this. I mean, this is definitely worth watching because you know, art cases or I guess cases, you know, dealing with cartooning a lot of times don't blow up like this.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times it just, and I think the reason Mr. Dunn made the video is if he had gone back channel, and some people said, well, just go back channel, it probably would have just gotten swept under the rug.
Right. Oh, we didn't get that message.
We never got the email. Oopsie doopsie, you know.
Something like that. But, you know, a lawyer should have been maybe called in ahead of time. But, you know,
if it were me.
I understand. No, but I understand getting upset and then, you know, I get it. Totally get it.
I get it too. We've been screwed over in multiple occasions, so many times.
One person in particular.
But because of that, before I would do anything, I would make damn sure I had a lawyer, because you don't know which way this thing is going to go. you know, and people.
So we have a team kind of lawyers right now.
We do.
That's a whole other story.
Team Clownfish.
That's right.
We do. We actually have a team of lawyers, and you need it. And that's one thing that, if nothing else, out of this, if your takeaway from this is, as an artist, as a creative, one, you got to look at the business side of things. Two, you got to look at the legal side of things. And so many artists out there get screwed over because they're not protected. They don't think about the legality or the
but the thing is, what could he have done? What could he have done to protect himself more, though? Honestly, because I'm like, it went through a publisher. It's been out there for years. People knew about it. What else? What else is he supposed to do?
Well, no, I'm not blaming Dunn. What I'm saying is, just for future reference for anybody watching this video, be aware that this kind of thing can happen. And you probably want to make sure that you have at least a lawyer you can contact in case something like this
Well, definitely,
happens.
if you ever have to do a contract of any kind, always have a lawyer look at it. That's,
yeah.
That's unrelated to this, but we're talking about lawyers. But, I don't know. The whole thing's a mess. That's all I can tell you.
It is a mess. And we'll be watching this because I do think it is going to open up a floodgate of other
and we haven't
trauma.
seen the entire book.
No.
So you can't really make full comparisons yet, but there are enough things there that be even like coming into it and trying to be fair, looking at it, and there are some reasons to understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, because I'll admit, I watched it. I was kind of like, well, we'll see, we'll see. And I watched the first couple minutes. I'm like, it could be coincidence, whatever. And then by the time I got about halfway through it, I'm like, yeah, there are an awful lot of coincidences.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it reminds me of Working Girl so much.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But like I said, it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what any of you think. What matters is what the publishers think, what the courts think, that kind of stuff. So, we have to sit back and wait and see, I guess, because, none of us are going to get a look at the full book now, not until this whole thing's worked out to even make a fair page-to-page comparison. We can't do that. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. I will not be surprised if there are legal proceedings involved with this, in one way or another, be it, Alphonso, be it, Jake Parker, or be it whoever. There's probably, even be it the publishers even, I would not be surprised if there isn't some legal-ish elements added to this.
Oh god, yeah, it could go a number of ways. The publisher could go after Parker could go after Dunn could go after Parker. I do think
it's going to be drug out for a while.
Yeah, I do believe that there's going to be some kind of legal action, because this is a big deal. All the way around, it's a big deal, and it's definitely one. Again, being a young creative, if you're watching this video, take note of this. Watch this situation, because this is a reality. This could happen to you. If you're just doing your cartoons on the internet, or you're just, publishing your books or whatever, if you're working through a small publisher, be aware that this could be you.
So
on either side of it.
What he did with having all the original, ideas and notes was actually a really good thing to put out there. He might want to save it for court, but it was a good idea to put out there. So I don't know, but we're just updating you on it. It was not really even an update; it's more of an update for what we talked about last time, because you missed this stuff in the first place.
Nobody tagged me in on the fall. I had no idea until I did some digging on my own that Chronicle pulled the plug on the book.
Well, I also want to say the reason we did this too is because so many people were like, well, I don't understand how they could even trademark it. Well, yeah, he could have, and he did, clearly. There was no one disputed it. So, it is what it is. Usually you can't trademark like movements and stuff like that, but if the people that were in the office didn't know what it was and they just saw Inktober and he had all the documentation of it, then by all means he could have, and it went unchallenged. So, yeah.
All right, guys, so we're going to wrap this up. I'm sure we will be talking about this situation again. It's really interesting to watch how this is going to play out. So we'll talk to you later.
Bye.